This is Selma Schimmel, and I'm very happy that we're back here. This is our 10th year at the San Antonio Breast Cancer Symposium. It's the CTRC-AACR 32nd annual meeting of the Breast Cancer Symposium here in San Antonio. And I know that because you're in a big hurry here, Dr. Kent Osborne, as president of the San Antonio Breast Cancer Symposium, if you can just spend a few minutes with us and sort of give us the highlights of what you want to share now. I know I'll be talking with you again tomorrow.
Well, thank you for having us again. I think as you look at each individual breast cancer symposium that we've had over the years, and you look at the data that come out of that one symposium, you sort of say to yourself, well, there's been some incremental change, incremental benefits, which is true. But when you go back and you look at the whole 32 years, and I go back to the very first one where we had 50 people, community oncologists in the audience, and I look back at how we treated breast cancer then and how we treat breast cancer today, it's black and white. I mean, there's no similarity whatsoever. It's a totally different paradigm of diagnosis and treatment. And so what it's telling you is that these small incremental steps that have taken place over the past several decades have added up to major improvements and changes in how we treat this disease. And I would look at that at the symposium this year in a similar way. I think there's lots of very interesting things, pieces of the puzzle coming together, and I think that's the way it's going to keep going. And very excited about the data that have been presented so far at the meeting. Some new things that we didn't think about before, like bisphosphonates might be reducing the incidence of breast cancer, which is brand new information. Information that tamoxifen might reduce, when taken for prevention, might reduce lung cancer deaths is very interesting. So there are a number of interesting pieces of the puzzle that are presented here for the first time that I think will be important in conquering the disease.
I think one of the things that I was impressed with as I read through the program and looking at some of the papers is the advances that are being made for women with metastatic disease. When I was diagnosed now almost 30 years ago, it's just a whole different world, but seeing the options for patients with more advanced disease is very significant.
It is, and now metastatic disease is a challenge because I think when a breast cancer has spread to another part of the body, which you can look at as being in foreign soil, it has activated all kinds of cell survival modes or cell survival pathways. And that's why it's been difficult to eradicate metastatic breast cancer because of so many pathways functioning. So while estrogen receptor targeting with tamoxifen or aromatase inhibitors works very well in the adjuvant setting when you're dealing with a few little microscopic seeds, the benefits in the metastatic setting are much smaller. So the trick is then to be able to identify these other survival pathways that are contributing to maintenance and growth of the tumor. There's more than just estrogen receptor when you're dealing with metastatic disease, as an example, and then being able to target those now to identify which pathways are malfunctioning and be able to target those in addition to the estrogen receptor is exciting, and I think gives us some hope that we'll be able to at least control the disease for a longer period of time in these patients. So there have been a number of new targeted therapies that are being developed that I think will have a role in improving the survival and quality of life of these patients.
Thank you, Dr. Kent Osborne. I know you have to run, and I appreciate you making time. Dr. Osborne is the president of the San Antonio Breast Cancer Symposium. You're also the director of the Breast Cancer Center, but there's an important name, and I don't have it in front of me. I think it's the Sue Lester.
It's the Lester and Sue Smith Breast Center at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston.
I knew it was important to get that in there.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. You'll be joining your colleague from Europe, Dr. Jose Baselga.